they do the unthinkable and the unspeakable, and we all get kind of a vicarious thrill out of it. I think for me, a lot of it is the interesting ways in which the criminal world connects to what we call the upper world, the world we see every day on the news and in the newspaper and on the internet, the world that we're supposed to see. The idea that there's a parallel universe, an economic universe that's parallel to that, in which people are getting killed and threatened and all kinds of horrible things are happening, is a pretty fascinating thing for an investigator, a journalist, or a writer to explore. So that's pretty much my attraction to it.
Yeah, well, it's the key, it's the soup bone quote, it's the money shot in Goodfellas, and I think if you had a tentpole, the movie off any quote that Leota does in that brilliant voiceover, it's Paulie understood that they were the cops for people who couldn't call the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
That sort of clarity in a world of grays, even when it's nefarious, sometimes is like, I don't know, it's like you're drawn to the lamp, even if you're going to get Icarus by it at some point. Now listen, man, with your acting, I had Billy Friedkin on a couple weeks ago, and Billy was talking about, he's doing a film, and he goes out with Eddie and Sonny one night, and they're flipping a bar somewhere, and Eddie gives him a gun and tells him to stand at the back door and watch the back door, and Billy says all of a sudden I'm in the middle of it, and Eddie said, well, you wanted to feel for it, you got to feel for it now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, with your feel for it, do you get called in like R. Lee Ermey does in the Army films or Marine films? Do you get called in to give color and tour and chiaroscuro at any of these cop shows?
I've never whacked anybody.
No, but I mean, you know the rhythms of it, so you must act as an expert.
Here's the thing. Yeah, no, that's a good point, and it's true. I mean, if you do this work and you do it in actuality and reality and not in theory. I mean, if you pound the pavement and you go out and you try to meet these people and circulate, you'll find yourself in certain situations. There's one I remember very well when I was doing an article for Playboy about the roots of a Jamaican drug posse in Brooklyn back in the mid-'90s. And I went down to Kingston, Jamaica. I don't know if you've ever been to Kingston. Kingston's a tough little place.
Yeah, I have been to Kingston. Yeah. That's the closest. I'm not kidding you for purposes of this story. I made a wrong turn there one day and thought I was going to buy it, man.
Yeah, all of Kingston is a wrong turn. And I was researching this gang, so I wound up in this neighborhood called McGregor Gully, because the gang was called the Gullymen. And I show up down there to do research, and these neighborhoods are like no-go areas. They're barricaded off. Cops don't go in there. No one goes in there except someone who's from that neighborhood. So I was able to gain access. I connected with a human rights organization in Jamaica, and they set me up with a young kid, a 15-year-old kid, who became my guide into that shanty town. And I spent a day circulating in the shanty town trying to interview people. And you can imagine the hostility and the resistance that I met in those places. And he took me into a yard, a tenement yard, and there were all these Rastas sitting around and chilling pipes. And they looked at the kid bringing me into their lair in the middle of the afternoon, and they looked at him like, yeah, you better have a good reason for bringing this big white dude into our place in the middle of the afternoon while we're getting high. So I sit down with these guys and try to break the ice with them, and I'm getting nowhere. I'm getting nowhere with them. And to make a long story short, at a certain point, one of them hands me the pipe, the big chillum pipe that they're all smoking the ganja off of. So I'm faced with this split-second decision, right? I'm sitting in this tenement yard in the middle of the afternoon. My guide now has disappeared, so I'm like sitting here alone with these guys. I don't even know how to get out of this area, you know? These guys are asking me to get high. It's kind of a test, you know? It only took me like a second to realize, look, if I'm going to sit with these guys and talk to them and expect them to share things with me, then I got to try to be as close to one of them as I can possibly be. So I smoked the weed, and it was strong, but it immediately changed the dynamic of that situation. And I'm not saying they welcomed me with open arms.
No, but at least you didn't get killed. You want to know how good that weed was, TJ? There's no guy named Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, you know, everything since then is...
You just hallucinated the whole thing, baby. All right, TJ English and the new book. And by the way, folks, Savannah Nocturne. You gotta read this book. I have not read Savage City now, but now that I'm watching Mad Men and I get a feel for John Lindsay's New York, I assume that that's got Savage City. But the mob in Havana Nocturne, show everybody the cake before you can, please. There's an absolutely brilliant treatment on that. I assume the new one is too. Whitey's Payback and other stories. Gangsterism, murder, corruption, and revenge. TJ, it's always a blast, man. Good to talk to you, brother.
Thanks, David. Take care. Same to you.
Chat at you down the road. All right. This is the Dennis Miller Show. The Dennis Miller Show on the Dial Global Radio Network.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood, and you've told me I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 4 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up and do whatever we want. Fund your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 7 meals for people like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we're feeding America. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
KPET, Winchester, Las Vegas, 790. Talk now. Talk that rocks. From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. A hostage standoff continues in Trenton, New Jersey. It's been going on since yesterday afternoon. Police say a man with a gun is holding multiple hostages. There are reports, not confirmed by police, of 2 dead bodies inside. This woman says she's friends with one of those victims.
This is tragic. It is so sad. My family, it's just hard for us to deal with right now. It's very hard.
Negotiations with the gunman continue. Officials in Cleveland say DNA testing confirmed that Ariel Castro is the father of a 6-year-old girl who escaped a long captivity there. Castro is charged with kidnapping and rape. It's alleged he held 3 women in captivity for a decade. Therapists say the women should be able to recover given extensive treatment and support. As for the child, Dr. Barbara Greenberg is a psychologist who treats abused teenagers.
It actually might be harder for her because it sounds to me that she may have developed more of a connection to this Castro guy.
The death toll is up to 43 in at least 2 car bombings in a town in Turkey near the border with Syria. No one's claimed responsibility. Istanbul journalist Dorian Jones talked with the BBC.
The Turkish foreign minister in Berlin says that it could be an attempt to derail efforts to resolve the Syria conflict. He said it's intense diplomatic activity at the moment to resolve it peacefully, and he said this could be an attempt to derail it.
In addition to the 43 dead, around 140 people were injured. Yesterday, the Internal Revenue Service apologized, acknowledging what it called inappropriate targeting of some conservative groups during the last election season to determine if they were violating their tax-exempt status. The agency blamed low-level employees. Now says the Associated Press it got its hands on a draft report that it says the AP does seem to contradict public statements by the IRS commissioner in this matter. You're listening to ABC News.
You wanted it, you got it. Big Easy Click deals are back at Lumber Liquidators Easy Click Flooring Sale. Save up to 48% versus comparable floors at big box stores. Get big coupon savings and save up to 33% off our best laminates. Up to 22% off Easy Click hardwood. Up to 26% off Easy Click vinyl wood plank. Plus special financing. Easy to install, easy to finance, easy to save. It's just right. Easy Click Flooring Sale is going on down. For your local store today.
Discomfort and chafing from weather-related friction can hit any time. Get relief and prevent it too with Gold Bond medicated foot powder for your feet and body powder for your, whether you're working out or just holding down the couch. You're a guy. And unlike baby powders, Gold Bond's got the medicated formula to fight itch, odor, and wetness. Plus, it's got that cooling kick that lets you know it's working wherever. Keep it cool with Gold Bond medicated foot and body powders. It's a God gift. User directed.
A room of their own. For nursing mothers on some U.S. military reservations, ABC's Joan Bennett has the story.
New moms who work at an Army installation in South Carolina and a few other bases no longer have to hide in a restroom to breastfeed their babies or express milk for their infants. The 3rd Army headquarters at Shaw Air Force Base has set aside a lactation room for mothers. The 3rd Army Nursing Center was a result of lobbying by a support group called Sisters in Arms. The room is outfitted with privacy screens, chairs, and tables, a sink, a fridge, and microwave. It's open to civilian employees wearing uniforms and soldiers'
Capital this weekend. America's top middle school mathlete has been crowned. ABC Scott Goldberg says the competition is the arithmetic equivalent of the National Spelling Bee.
All right, if you guys are ready to get down to a simple question, really. What is the greatest integer that must be a factor of the sum of any 4 consecutive positive odd integers? After about 45 seconds. Alan. 8 is the correct answer. Which son nailed it? The 8th grader from Lexington, Massachusetts beat 223 other middle schoolers competing in this year's Raytheon Math Counts national competition. The champ gets an $8,000 college scholarship. Scott Goldberg, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Now's the time. Now's the time to make a difference. Now's the time to do what's right to help a family. Now's the time to volunteer, to make a commitment, to make new friends, to make dreams come true, to help a child. Now's the time to help Habitat for Humanity build hope and change lives with a family in your community or around the world. Now's the time. Now, more than ever, help build it. Visit habitat.org.
I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Hi, it's Roger Hitchcock, host of the Roger Hitchcock Show, heard here on 790 Talk Now, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. Freedom of speech is not free. The talk that rocks needs advertising dollars to keep free speech alive. Talk Now. Why? Because according to recent research, ads that air on talk stations like 790 Talk Now get 2 to 3 times the response from customers compared to other radio formats. That's because listeners support the advertisers that support the talk shows they love. If you run a business, advertise with 790 Talk Now. And if you're a listener, do business with the folks that advertise on your favorite shows. For more information on how you can advertise on 790 Talk Now, call 546-5000. That's 546-5000. Ask for Andy, where free speech lives. 790 Talk Now. Talk that rocks.
Radio, a constantly changing art form. London, the 2-hour ultimatum has been delivered to Germany. Rock and roll. Very home companion. Hello, everybody, and welcome. From that first broadcast, a medium that has been pruned, honed, trimmed, winnowed, chiseled, bonsai, and deposited here today, ready to be moistened with the watering can of evolutionary fuel. This is the Dennis Miller Show.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the Dennis. I don't have my cue card. I thought my name was Dennis Miller for a second. Dennis Miller, joining us now in the LA studio. I'll name right now. Comedian, friend of show from early on. Julia was always there for us. Julia Lillis, Julia Goliath.